tonight, as advertised. And let me go on to my page here, my channel to see. This is where how I read the comments. Okay. Hey, already got 2 likes. That's a good thing about promoting. I finally started promoting. When you promote, you get likes before you even go on. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm assuming that people will come along. Huh. Well, I should be. I show live on my phone, but the laptop does not show me live. Let me try something here. Okay. Okay, now it shows me live. There we go. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start. And so this is my Friday. This is my Black Friday. Turn that off. There we go. All right, this is my Black Friday video. Black Friday haul video. In the background, you're going to hear some noise, a little bit of background noise. That's just my wife and son watching a Christmas movie. I think they're watching what's the train Christmas movie? Polar Express. There we go. But I opted to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and start. So. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take it in order. Black Friday, last week ago, so 9 days ago was Black Friday. First stop I made was at Ollie's. I've talked about Ollie's before. If you don't have an Ollie's in the area, that is unfortunate. If you do have an Ollie's in the area and you've never checked them out, you are long overdue. You need to do that. I went by Ollie's, and I always check on. I think Ollie's may get stuff in every new stuff in every week. But I'm not sure of their schedule. But I bought my first omnibus, first Marvel omnibus. I had not had a Marvel omnibus before, and I bought one just because $100 to $125 just out of range for me. As it is, I think, for a lot of collectors, unless you save up for something, which is omnibus is a good thing to save up for. But I found this omnibus at Ollie's, retailed for $125. Ollie's price, $34.99. So basically, $35 for a $125 book. This is X-Men Volume 2. There's the thickness of it there. And then there's all the books, that it reprints, all the comics it reprints. Now, a lot of these I had back in the day. I had a lot of these old X-Men books. And so I'm really happy to have these again, to be able to read these stories again. Hefty book. They're very cool. John Cassidy cover after a George Tuska cover, but I don't remember I guess it was X-Men number 39. But John Cassidy cover there, who pays homage to George Tuska. Great stuff. Now, this was actually, I bought this for myself from my uncle, so I'm going to wrap it, and he's going to be able to see me open it on Christmas Eve. He doesn't watch my YouTube channel, so it's going to be okay. He's not going to be spoiled. It's not going to spoil it for him. Okay, so from Ollie's, I went to a vintage stock. And let me get to that, because I'm taking things in order. There's some of the background noise of the movie. All right. Hopefully you hear me over the movie. Just a handful of things from vintage stock. I will say, this is a big, lots of indie comics that I got this time around. I like indie comics. I like trying new things. And so I'm kind of excited about that. One of these I'd never seen before, never heard of before. And of course, that's a good thing too. You need to try new stuff. You need to try something you've never done before. Here's Go ahead and take this. These are dollar comics, basically. Vintage Stock has largely gotten away from dollar comics. They do $1.99 comics. So I generally only shop there if it's BOGO. Buy one, get one. And then that makes them dollar comics again. So here's what I got for $1 a piece at Vintage Stock. This is an independent comic from 1993 called The Renegade. Actually has a foreword by Todd McFarlane in here. An introduction by Todd McFarlane. The Renegade. I've never heard of this book before. Never seen this book before. Quite a shiny cover. Trying to keep the glare off of there. But decent looking little independent offering. It is black and white interiors. There's the opening splash page. Not the worst independent art. Actually fairly appealing as far as the art style and the detail. All right. So this is a created, written, and drawn by Sterling Clark. Sterling Clark. Okay, never heard of that guy, but that's okay. The Renegade is copyright Sterling Clark for Studio S Productions. So there you go. And just some ideas of the some more interiors here. Again, not a bad job on interiors. Don't know who this Sterling guy is. Once I read this, I'll have a get a better idea of what he's all about and what his vision is for this character. So, and then it's got an ad for a creation by Jeff Rice, creator and author of The Night Stalker, and he's Renegade and Kolchak together. So Kolchak is the Night Stalker character is in this book evidently, and he's on there on the double cover or the front and back spread there, wraparound cover. There you go. That's what you call it. I'll have to look into that because Kolchak, if they got the rights to Kolchak, says for the first time anywhere, Kolchak makes an officially sanctioned cameo appearance in the pages of The Renegade. Well, that's interesting. So we'll take a look at that and see what that's all about. All right. I'm hoping I can get through all of these. This may be, we may be doing 2 Black Friday live streams. All right. So Strange Days, issues 1 through 3. This is a 1980s independent book from Eclipse Comics. I got a lot of my indies were Eclipse. Okay. Eclipse issue number 1. Eclipse issue number 2. This looks very kind of a colorful punk thing going there. And issue number 3. All right. I know nothing about Strange Days, except I sometimes would see the odd Strange Day comics, here and there in the 80s. So, kind of excited about that. Wait a minute. Why am I putting that there? Don't put that there. Okay. What did I do with... There it is. Okay. All right. Next. Building up that Warren Ellis Stormwatch run, so I can read them all together. It's issue number 47, 48, 49, and 50. So good stuff there. So those were my Vintage Stock pickups. All right. And next, I went to Wizards Asylum. Now, those of you who have seen my videos before know I used to do the Wizards Asylum sale on a regular basis. I think they're doing some remodeling in the kitchen. Used to go to for about 10 years straight or more, I would go to the Black Friday Vintage Stock, Wizards Asylum. I'm saying Vintage Stock, I mean Wizards Asylum. I'd go to the Wizards Asylum Black Friday sale every year, get there about 6 a.m. or maybe even a little earlier in some cases, stand in the cold, sometimes stand in the cold and ice and snow and that kind of thing, to get first shot at $5 books. I stopped doing that last year. I just decided, no, I'm too old for that. Not doing that anymore, and I don't really want to do that anymore. So started going another direction, and that just getting there, and you know, a little later in the day, and seeing what I could pick up. I wasn't disappointed last year at what I picked up, and I wasn't disappointed this year in what I picked up. What they do, the big draw there for the comics fans. That's a gaming store too, and so lots of gaming fans are there. If you're within the first 10 people in line, you've got a pretty good chance of getting some really good wall comics, because half those people are probably going to be there for gaming stuff. All right, but so anyway, I showed up there, and I ended up getting some good $5 wall comics, and I want to start with this one because when I was going through the boxes, I saw and I recognized what this was as soon as the guy working there saw me see it. He goes, "You know what that is?" I said, "I know what that is." Well, this is Comic Scene number 31, and this is basically what this is this is the first ever appearance in print of Harley Quinn. And the thing is, it's hyping the, at the time, upcoming Batman. I think it was that at the time upcoming. It's 19. Let me look at the date here. The 1992. Okay, so it was hyping the Batman animated series. All right, and there's one picture, and I've scanned the article, and it doesn't really even mention a you know, the character's name, but it shows an image right here of Harley Quinn. And that's why this book commands such high prices, back market, on the back market. I don't understand it, but it's just a fact. And so I got it for $5. And, you know, again, like the guy said, "You know what that is?" I said, "I know exactly what that is." And I grabbed it up, and this thing is just in immaculate shape. You know, very, very high grade, and a $5 wall book. So he said, "I've been waiting all morning for someone to snap that up, and no one has." He said, "I've been shocked." So I was glad that nobody got it, and I was happy to take it home, because the icing on the cake for me is not the Harley Quinn appearance. I love these magazines. It's hard for me to imagine now that these are you know, history now. This is 3 decades old, over 3 decades old. But that's not, the Harley Quinn appearance isn't even the most interesting thing in here for me. The most interesting thing for me is the story in here about a possible Doctor Strange movie coming up. Now, this was 1992, mind you, and there's called Strange Interlude, and it was talking about a possible movie treatment of Doctor Strange by none other than Francis Ford Coppola, okay, who had made Apocalypse Now and Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I thought about that, and I thought, man, Francis Ford Coppola making Doctor Strange, that would have probably been pretty trippy. But obviously it never happened, but it came out in the article that Coppola was, in his childhood, a big comic book fan, okay? And so that's really cool. So to me, that was the most interesting part of the magazine. We got some good classic Ditko art in there, and a Frank Brunner cover, okay, cover image. So that's very cool for me. And for $5, that I was happy to get that. Very happy to get that. All right. Now there were some other. I picked up some other magazines and one book but just because along with them, because I love this stuff. It's history. You got the comic book collector. I don't see an issue. No, number 8. Talking about Malibu's new Ultraverse line. Okay, so probably some first appearances in there, if it's not reporting after the fact. Plus an exclusive interview with fantasy artist Frank Frazetta. Okay, that is worth the buck that I paid for that book. All right, and then a Comic Scene number 28 about, you know, the big spread on Batman Returns. Okay, and the second movie. Got issue number 2 of Cryptology. Don't really know much about it. I just thought, well, I flipped through it. It looked interesting, and so for $1, again, worth a look. The cover was worth the price of admission. I'm not a big horror guy, but some of it speaks to me. All right, not the cultic stuff, but and then I got Ghost Rider and the Midnight Suns magazine. I think this was an introductory for what was coming, but I'm not sure. I haven't broken it open yet. Haven't looked at it. These are all $1. All the back issues were $1. Got the $5 wall books, and all back issues $1. I feel like I'm really short in this video. Well, I am short, but I feel like I look really short in this video. And then something called Ambassador of the Shadows from, let's see, by J.C. Mezteris and P. Kristen, by Valerian. Dargood Publishing International. And Ambassador of the Shadows. Never heard of it, but kind of a, looks like kind of a international offering here. And it is, in fact, it is. Got all these great quotes about Valerian from, it says what the American cartoonists say. Got comments here, positive comments here from Russ Manning, Jim Steranko, Kelly Frias, Gil Kane, Roy Thomas, Len Wein, Will Eisner. So Harvey Kurtzman, all these people liked it. So, I mean, seeing that on the back, and this is copyright 1975, by the way, seeing that on the back and knowing all those greats promoted it, I thought that's worth a buck. That's worth a buck, taking it home and reading that. So I can't wait to get into that. And then found a magazine that I'd never seen before. I think this was a 1990s magazine. It is kind of a, I don't like the word horror in the sense that horror means so many different things these days. Horror can cover blood and gore, hack movies, to psychological thrillers in some cases. But this is a quality horror magazine, number by some, I guess, a magazine called Lot of Slaughter. Number 1, November of 1991. It's called Maggots. Okay. Now the reason why I picked this up. Okay. And an interesting tagline on the front. What's a nice girl like Mad Raven doing in such a horrible magazine? Maybe she's not so nice. Okay. Maybe not. Probably not. Okay. But here is some of the work in this is really good. You got Steve Stiles' work. Okay. You got Alfredo Alcala doing work. You got Joe Staten doing work. Joe Staten, whatever, doing work in here. You got Jack C. Harris writing with art by Joe Staten. You got Russ Miller. You got Batten Lash. So you got some decent artists in here. Give you an idea of some of the black and white interiors. Okay. And so, again, for a buck, I'll try new things. All right. That's one artist here. Here's some more different artists. Okay. So, cool stuff. Some cool magazine size offerings. And, like I say, got some fun reading ahead. Now, it's not a great magazine. Not a great bag for this magazine. There we go. Okay. Okay, so, all right, with the magazines out of the way. So, those were all $1. This was the $5 wall book. Let me get to some more $5 wall books here. Then we'll get to dollar books. Okay. 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 All right, some more wall books. Come upon some Marvel Collector's Item Classics, which are always great reprint books. You know what? It's driving me crazy. There we go. Okay. Marvel Collector's Item Classics number 2. Number 2. Okay. Reprints of Fantastic Four number 2. Is that number 2? Number 3. First Amazing Spider-Man number 4. First appearance of the Sandman. And I don't know what Tales to Astonish number 27. Let's see. 37. If there's anything particularly special about that. But anyway, just some great Marvel reprint Silver Age stuff, okay? So Marvel Collector's Item Classics number 2, I'm sorry. Number 4, Marvel Collector's Item Classics. Okay. Again, these are $5 wall books. Number 7, this one has a particularly nice spine. Square, of course, these were square bound. And so I'm going to really enjoy getting into these. Marvel's Greatest Comics number 25. Again, particularly nice cover and spine with the Fantastic Four fighting side by side with the Submariner against Atuma. All right. So another, nothing wrong with reprint titles. Love reprint titles because, of course, the classic Marvel stuff is so far out of reach these days, that all you have really are the reprints, unless you just have a lot of money. All right. This was a particularly beat copy, but it's number 2. It's very early Steranko work. This is Spy-Man number 2 by Harvey Comics, a Harvey thriller. Okay, and so it's kind of rough, but it's worth the read. For $5, it's worth the read to me. I'm gonna save these for my Christmas video because a couple of Christmas covers that I'll share later. Now, a couple more $5 comics. One of those hologram covers that I didn't have from the Ultraverse from the 90s. This is The Strangers number 1. And for $5, these are hard, at least in my neck of the woods, these are hard to find in the wild. But I love these full hologram covers. You know me and cover bling. I love it. Okay. And then one that I've been kind of on the lookout for, the House of Mystery presents I, Vampire. Of course, the first appearance there of I, Vampire. Okay. $5. Nice copy. High grade. Okay. And then Star Slayer, the Log of the Jolly Roger. This is issue number 3. This is the second appearance of the Rocketeer in story form. Now, issue number 1 of Star Slayer had a blurb, an advertisement of the Rocketeer. Issue number 2 had the first Rocketeer story, and then this had the second Rocketeer story. So, technically, second appearance of the Rocketeer, so I don't count ads as first appearances. I just count them as ads. But so there you go. And then what I found here, this is one of the dollar books. We'll get into the dollar books that I got from Wizards Asylum. Pull these out. This is very special to me because, first of all, this is a collection that is just not. It may be, you may see it a lot in your neck of the woods. I don't see it in mine a lot. If you're familiar with Dinosaurs for Hire, that was a popular title in the late 80s, early 90s, I believe. An artist who worked a lot on the, did some inking and color work, and even some pencil art, I think. But Mike Roberts was a Tulsa native, okay? And he used to frequent Comic Empire of Tulsa. I used to see Mike, talk to Mike. He was quite a character, quite a dude. And this is Dinosaurs for Hire, and collection. And I think it collects the first story, but I'm not sure about that. But lots of accolades on the back. It was one of those independents that really garnered a lot of love back in the day. Hope the lighting's okay. I just realized I forgot to turn on any special lighting, but that's okay. Let's see. These were all dollar comics that I picked up for different reasons. I just loved the cover on this one. This Ultimate Spider-Man number 22 variant. Love that. Very reminiscent of Dr. Octopus in the second Spider-Man movie, the first trilogy. All right. And the first two parts of, I think it's first 2 parts. Well, no, I don't know. I say that. I assumed. Anyway, I got Batman Hush 2, Batman number 158 and 159. Got those for $1. I thought, it's an opportunity to read something new, something that's recent on the stands, and see what it's about, see if it's any good. My guess is that since they had a bunch of them in the dollar books, probably not that great, or at least didn't do that well. This is a reprint. It was $1, but it was one of those facsimiles of the Uncanny X-Men number 136. This one, since it's just $1, will come right out of the plastic and go right on the spinner rack, because that's how I roll. Gonna go on the spinner rack. So, okay, so great stuff there. Another variant cover, Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 41. This one I just had to have at $1, because very reminiscent of the Ditko stuff, the early Spider-Man Ditko work. All right, Ditko Spider-Man work. All right. Space Ghost Annual from Dynamite, from the last few years anyway. Beautiful cover, and for $1, I just thought it's worth it. That's worth it. All right, now Geiger, this new title from Image Comics. I went ahead and picked up a bunch of issues of that. I know there's a TV show or something coming out. And I'm trying to get these and make sure these are in order. Okay. So I went ahead and picked these up because they were $1 a piece. Regularly $4 a piece. They have them at $3.99. So Geiger number, and they seem to do a lot of different covers for them, but Geiger number 3, I don't care about the covers. I just want to read the story, read what I can. Geiger number 3. Okay. Geiger number 4. Geiger number 5. That's kind of a really cool cover. I'm not even sure what Geiger is about. I'm hoping that inside issue 3 is kind of a what's gone before, okay? What's happened to this point. Geiger number 7. I'm going to try to fill these out so I can read the story. Geiger number 8. Geiger number 10. Some cool covers. Geiger number 11. Geiger number 13. And then Geiger number 17. So for $1 a piece, thought, you know, do a little reading of this current title. See what's what. See how hard it is maybe to get the missing issues. It might not be that hard. Who knows? I did get another copy of, or no, another copy. I got an issue of Batman 89 Echoes, number 1. I'm still trying to build the Batman 89 series, the first one. I've got 1 or 2 of those I still need to get. But I like the idea of continuing this Batman universe in comic form. And so I'll buy all of those I can until I have them all and go from there. All right? Okay, so, pardon me. There's that. Now, after that was, of course, that was my Wizards Asylum haul. I did stop at a vintage stock. Oh, wait, I showed those already. Okay, good. Now I'm ready to move on to Shadow Mountain. Shadow Mountain Comics in Tulsa was having their 4 for $1 sale, quarter a piece. And so these were, actually it was, 5 for $1. 5 for $1. Quarter a piece, but 5 for $1. So, got the Steranko cover of Action Comics number 1000. Okay, so you can't beat Steranko covers. Jim Steranko is one of those artists whose work doesn't seem to have suffered over the years. A lot of artists, their work has kind of become questionable over the years. I think about Frank Miller. I don't care for his art these days, not nearly as much as I used to. It's much more simplistic. It seems much more phoned in. And so, hey, Gargling Bulldog, hey, evening. Glad you could stop by. I don't know how many of you remember the Adventurers series from the 80s. This is another collection I'd never seen before. Let me see if I can get a date for it here. If it's not immediately available, I'm not going to worry about it. And it's not immediately available. So, but anyway, this is The Ways of the Worm. Quest 3, an Adventurers graphic novel. Okay? These, you know, there's a conversation to be had about what books are rare. I was actually on the phone with Michael Smith, Night Tiger Comics, several days ago, and we were talking about what's rare and simply what's unattainable, or, you know, hard to attain, I should say, or financially unattainable. People talk about Amazing Fantasy number 15 being rare. Actually, Amazing Fantasy 15 is not that rare. If you go on eBay, you can find a bunch of Amazing Fantasy 15s if you have the money to buy them. Okay? I would be willing to bet, however, that there's not as many of these on eBay as there are Amazing Fantasy number 15s. Now people would say, that's a false flag argument, you know, straw man argument, because who cares about this as opposed to the first appearance of Spider-Man? True enough, but it remains that that makes this more rare. Finding this is going to be more difficult than finding an Amazing Fantasy number 15 if money is no object. So I'm just using that to you know, people talk about rare books. This is more of a rare book. That Dinosaurs for Hire collection is more of a rare book. And, you know, yeah, you can say, who cares? Now you can also say, okay, an Amazing Fantasy 15 in high grade, that's more rare. Fair enough. But the book itself you can find if you've got the cash to buy one. But this, a little different. Now I might be talking out my ear because I didn't go on eBay and look for one of these. That's just a gut. This is a gut feeling. So maybe Bulldog will go on eBay, see how many copies of The Ways of the Worm, Quest 3, you can find, Bulldog. All right. Next, I did find some. Again, talked about this was the time to buy some. This was the time I bought some indies, and I think indies are a good way to go. I think we need somebody who never reads independent books. Hey Ray, good to see you, man. Glad you're here. And Bulldog, I'm glad you're curious. Go check it out. If you never read any independents, you're missing out. You're missing out if you never try them. So try new stuff all the time. Finally went ahead and got, I think there's only 4 issues of this, but I got John Byrne's Trio from IDW from several years ago. I've gotten through the first 2 issues. Not bad. Not bad at all. If you're a John Byrne fan, you're going to like it. I'm going to talk about it in depth. I'm going to go ahead and do some retrospectives on it. But it's fun, and that's all I'll say for now. It's worth having. Sorry, those are the first 2. There was 2 different covers to issue number 2. That's issue number 2. That is also issue number 2. Yeah, you need to get to Tulsa. Lots of, Tulsa's a proper comics mecca these days. It really is. That's issue number 2 as well. And then issue number 1, there's multiple copies, at least 2 copies, or 2 covers to each issue, okay? Okay, so then issue number 3, I haven't read this yet. Only see a couple of those adventurers trades on eBay right now. That's what I thought. And yet I bet you can go see how many Amazing Fantasy 15s you can find. I bet you can find more than 2. All right. So anyway, there's issue number 3, and there's issue number 4. All right. So I think 4 issues was all there was to Trio, but I'm not sure. But hey, it's John Byrne, and it's his own stuff, and it's kind of doing his own thing, so it's worth it. All right, another indie. I don't know anything about it. It was an issue 1. It was continued. We'll see what I think of this first issue. It's a nice, thick first issue, but this is Sacred Creatures from Image Comics, number 1. And pretty good creative team. Pablo Raimondi, I believe, is doing the writing. I don't know that name, but art by Pablo Raimondi as well, and Klaus Janson helping with the writing. So the art is really nice. And let me give you an idea of some of the art inside. Okay, realistic style, realism based, I should say. Okay. So great stuff there. So Sacred Creatures. Looking forward to breaking into that. Also, IDW put out, let me get an idea on the date on this one. This looked really interesting to me. This was issue number 1, July 2010. So some of you probably saw these. I never did. I got the first 2 issues. Strange Science Fantasy number 1. And I'll show you the format they did. More of a narration format. Love the illustrations and the narration below the box, the illustration boxes. So I love storytelling like that. No word balloons, okay, but that's okay. All right, and issue number 2 is like that as well. Really kind of inspired some of these covers, especially this one right here. I love that. And again, the same type of storytelling. I'm guessing this is an anthology. It's Strange Science Fantasy, kind of a throwback to the EC stuff. All right, so cool stuff there. Again, talking about indies, I haven't started reading these yet. The next series I'm going to talk about, I have started reading. Strike. This is another Eclipse book from the 80s. This is by Tom Lyle. Tom Lyle the art is by Tom Lyle of course, Spider-Man fame. Web of Spider-Man from the 80s and early 90s, I guess. But this is Strike number 1, okay? And I got strike number 2 there in the same bag. So these, I got 2 in a bag for a quarter a piece. And considering I bought, it was 5 for $1, I got them for less than that. So great time there. Strike number 3. Strike number 4. And Tom Lyle, his stuff early on looked like Tom Lyle stuff. So that's really cool too. He just got better. He just got sharper. I always liked his stuff in Spider-Man, and I like it just as much visually in this book. And then issues 5 and 6. Okay, so first 6 issues anyway. I don't know how many there were altogether, but there's that. All right. Okay. Let's see. Grab some others here. All right, Indies. This is the one that I've already begun getting into. I remember seeing issues of this series early on, when they were first coming out. Back in the day, and when I didn't really give much thought to most indie titles. This was from 1986, in fact. It started the year I graduated from high school. But this is the New Wave. And again, what drew me to this, besides it being an independent series, again by Eclipse. There's lots of Eclipse books at Shadow Mountain. This was don't know the author's name, the writer, Sean Deming and Mindy Newell, but Lee Weeks does the pencils, and Ty Templeton the inks. So there's a couple of names we know, right? And so that's a Weeks Templeton cover, all right? And very solid independent comics work. And so that's issue 1. I actually got the first 10 or 12 issues. I don't remember now, but there's issue number 2. I've read the first 3 issues. Very much enjoying it. Does not read like a Marvel or a DC book, which is refreshing, especially Marvel or DC book from the era of the 80s, okay? Issue number 3. Also an interesting little blurb on the back. Well, back cover, it's not a blurb, it's the whole back cover. They're recognizing Marvel Comics' 25th anniversary, and they ask, what about Jack? Now, Jack was still alive at the time, obviously, 86, 87. And he, I'm not sure if it's saying, what about his recognition? What about, I don't know. What about Jack? Jack was doing other work by then, I believe, and work outside of Marvel. So I don't know, but it's interesting to have a picture of Jack Kirby anyway on there. So the first 3 issues have been great on that. Here's issue number 4 with the same back cover. All right. Issue number 4. As the team is kind of coming together, depending, of course, depending on how much I like this, I'll probably share it too. I'm starting to go back. I'm going to go back, I think, and check out Airboy and Scout too. Back in the 80s and early 90s, my LCS owner, Mike McCormick, he bragged on Scout all the time. He loved Tim Truman's. I've always heard that Eclipse had a lot of great titles, and I never did much. Never checked it out much, but I'm starting to get into it. And Mike always used to talk about Scout, and he loved Scout. He loved Tim Truman's work. But so there's New Wave number 5. Sorry. All right. New Wave number 6. I love the nice crisp covers, and all of these, except maybe for one, I think on there, Weeks and Templeton, Lee Weeks and Ty Templeton art, and it was, again, especially for independent work, it was solid. Issue number 7. Eclipse had some amazing titles. Yeah, I've always heard that. There was, and here's one where they brought back the Heap, Return of the Heap, on the cover of New Wave number 8. The Heap. I think he was an Airboy character, wasn't he? Wasn't he originally in Airboy? He appeared in Airboy, I think. I mean, Golden Age Airboy. Eclipse number 9. This feels like a thicker issue. they went to regular cover paper on this one. This may have been, my goodness. Is that a Christmas movie? Anyway, all right. And this one says America's #1 team. I'm not sure who sanctioned that, but issue number 9. Very cool back cover illustration. Getting some New Universe vibes from the New Wave. Yeah, absolutely. I can see it. Kind of, what was the robot in the New Universe? Red something. Issue number 10, the New Wave. What was the robot? What was the, not the robot, the armored character in the New Universe? It was Red something, I think. Or unless I'm thinking of Rocket Red, DC. New Wave number 11. Got a lot of these. And again, first 3 issues have been a lot of fun. Not your typical superhero book at all. All right, so that's the last of that. I picked up a 3-issue miniseries by Eclipse called New York Year Zero. Here's issue number 1. Kind of almost like an end times, big battle royale story. Very cool, very detailed black and white art inside, but kind of an end times type story. Everything's going to heck in a handbasket, that kind of thing. All right. That's issue number 1. Issue number 2. New York Year Zero. And issue number 3. I don't know if that was all of them. Okay. But that'll get me, in fact, let me just see. Nope, it says to be continued. So if I like it, I'll be hunting those up as well. All right. A book that I never checked out, but used to always see even on the New Comics, on the New Comics stands back in the day. This is a 1983 independent title from Capital Comics. Okay. Yeah. So first six issues of Scout were good. Yeah, I've always heard Scout was great. Just never sought it out. This is Whisper number 1. Okay, so you got the female ninja thing going there. All right. This also has some of those who watch my channel on a regular basis and have for a while. You know I'm a big Nexus fan. Found something I'm going to have to find. Nexus Portfolio number 1 ad on the back. Okay, and so the thought of a Nexus, a Steve Rude portfolio, with the Nexus characters, that sounds like a lot of fun. Whisper number 1, who's this by? Stephen Grant, writer. Okay, Rich Larson, artist. There's the opening splash page there. All right. So who doesn't love a good ninja story? And when it's a female ninja, depending on how it's done, that could be even better. Here's an idea of the interior art. Okay. So nice, clear storytelling. I'm telling you, clear, or even if it's not the best art, if it's clear and easy to tell what's going on, that's worth everything. That's worth everything. And they can even portray darkness, stuff going on in darkness, and yet the images are still clear. It's easy to tell what's going on. If I see an image, a panel in a comic book, just even a panel, and I can't tell what's happening, that's the fault of the artist, and something's up there. So anyway, I like that this is so clear and crisp as far as the art style, Rich Larson's art style. All right. So then I actually got another. I was on a tear as far as trying new independent titles, and this one is actually manga. I don't know what's gotten into me here, but Cyber 7. Now this is book 2, so I'm going to have some catching up to do as far as who they are. But Cyber 7, book 2, number 1. Okay. Don't sleep on Saber or Miracle Man from Eclipse as well. Miracle Man, I did. Thank you for saying that. I actually did get into Miracle Man back in the 80s to maybe 90, 91. And I read the first 10 or 12 issues of the original Miracle Man. Really enjoyed the first half dozen. They were great. And then they went way up in value where you couldn't requirement now. They've kind of come down again. And but no, that was great storytelling. Very got very mature there for a while, but it was the storytelling was great. Okay, and the characterization was great. But there's Cyber 7, Book 2, Number 1. I'm really going through kind of a time where I'm just kind of trying to expand my horizons a little bit where comics are concerned. Cyber 2, there's so much more. You start thinking that you're a bit of a historian or an amateur historian in comics, and then you realize, you know what? I know almost nothing about indie comics. I need to remedy that. So, hey, I've got something to occupy the next 20 or 30 years of my comic book reading. All right, Cyber 7, Book 2, Number 2. Okay. And again, very, very manga style in here. Okay. And, but I'm willing to give it a try. Gotta try new things. Cyber 7, Book 2, Rockland number 3. Issue number 3. The fact of the matter is, manga, a lot of people say manga is becoming very popular. Manga has been popular for generations, just more popular on other continents. And other, and we think of, as American comic book readers, we think of it, manga is really coming on. No, manga has been actually outselling American comics for a long time. Let's see, issue number 4. MM15, Death of Kid MM. Fantastic but pricey. Bit the bullet and got a bit of a deal, but it was worth it, yeah. So great storytelling. There's a lot of great storytelling to be had in that area, in that realm. All right, issue number 5. Really great cover on this issue 5. Really digging that particular illustration. Okay. And again, interior art. Okay. Issue number 6. Kamui? Cool. I've seen that. I think I've seen that. I've recognized that title. Got the first 20 issues. Okay, good. You're inspiring me here to dig into the independent stuff. I mean, really, I fully expect, here's issue number 7. I fully expect, as I dig into some of these indies, to thoroughly enjoy them. I expect them to be nothing like what I grew up reading as far as Marvel and DC, because the stuff I read from Humanoids and stuff in the 90s, that was wonderful, but it was nothing like what American comics were putting out. And it was great stuff. I remember reading Metabarons and being just blown away. Metabarons was amazing. But, I fully expect to think at some point along the lines of, what have I been reading all this time? Why haven't I gotten to this? Issue number 8. Very cool cover. Okay. Issue number 7. Let me tell you something else too issue number 9 about, something my former LCS owner, Mike McCormick, used to say. He used to say people are, this was back when comic book movies were first starting to hit, with Batman and in the 89 and onward. And he used to say about the turn of the century, about the time of the Spider-Man movies especially, he'd say people are sleeping on these indie titles. And he said, where do you think these movie companies are going to go once they've kind of exhausted the superhero stuff? They're going to do what a lot of readers do. They're going to say, man, I've worn myself out on the superhero stuff. Let's check out these indie books, and find out that, it's not the same type of material, but it's just as good, if not better. Okay. So, because honestly, the Humanoid stuff, Metabarons in the 90s was better. Maybe that was 90s to early 2000s, but it was better than anything that Marvel or DC was putting out. All right. Number 10. Issue number 10. And that's what I got the first 10 issues. Okay. So, all right. Then next, just kind of some random stuff here. Tales of the Marvel Universe. I got this because I perceive, I had this back in the day, but I really think there's a first appearance or two in here. You know, before Kazar and the Thunderbolts, those 90s titles came out, but also just the very cool Carlos Pacheco cover, wraparound cover. Okay, actually, it's not all Pacheco. No, I guess it is. It's Carlos Pacheco. Great cover though, and what it has is a bunch of intro work. I won't bother with showing, but it's got first some pages of, I don't know if these are a preview or independent stories, but some Kazar stuff by Mark Waid and Andy Kubert. Some, what do you got here? Some work by, well, this is going to take too long. Anyway, I will go ahead and show you. Here's some Thunderbolt stuff. Okay. Some Kazar work. Yeah, Metabarons. Metabarons was awesome. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, got some, looks like some Daredevil Rick Leonardi work. Just, again, it was just bits and pieces of stuff, but I perceive that maybe there's a first appearance in here somewhere. Anyway, I got it because I loved the cover and it was kind of introductory and I like that stuff. All right. Okay. Something from Drawn and Quarterly, which is going to have to be, it looks, I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. I don't think it has to be read backwards, but we'll see. This is a reprint of The Birth of Kitaro. I don't know who a Kitaro is. It is a manga horror title, it looks like. It says the perfect introduction to award-winning author Shigeru Mizuki's most popular series. These classic comics have won the hearts of Japanese children and adults alike for more than half a century. So it collects Shigeru Mizuki's early and beloved Kitaro stories, making them available for the first time in English in an all-new kid-friendly format. This timelessly relevant and undeniably influential series will have 7 titles in all, so watch for the whole series coming soon to a comic shop near you. And and I'm guessing it is going to have to be read backwards because that's the front cover. The front cover, as we Americans would say, it's obviously a back cover. There's the front cover on the back. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I'm new, really, to true manga. Okay, so yeah, it's going to have to be read backwards, and that's okay. And I'll do that. Here's some. Oh my, that's some beautiful, detailed art work in there. Okay. Anyone out there ever heard of Kitaro? Shigeru Mizuki's Kitaro? Kitaro? Okay. There's some more interior work. So anyway, got to try new stuff. Let's see. Picked this up because it was a 2008 New York Comic Con special edition. Road to Armageddon Now, World War III sketchbook. This was an image thing, and so you got a sketchbook here with a cover image by Liefeld, and looks like perhaps painted Liefeld and Carpiotti. Anyway, got some interesting artwork inside. Here's some more. Let's see. Some more Liefeld work. I'm not a big Liefeld fan, but I know some people are, and that's fine. That's why they make chocolate and vanilla. I guess maybe it's not all Liefeld. Here's some, it's like some Mark Silvestri work in here. That looks like Silvestri. Burned out on the big tube, been getting indie about the last 2 years. Good for you. like I say, I'm catching on there. So, and if I'm going to do indie, as I'm an old dude, I'm going to start indie. I'm going to start, you know, 40 from the stuff from 40 years ago or so. But now this is a great, again, for a quarter, or five for a dollar, however you want to say it. Here's the Steve Rude, Gary Martin, Steve Rude introduction. I think it's the introduction to the Moth. Who is the Moth? Now, this may not have been the first appearance. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's beautiful Steve Rude art. Great back cover painting by Steve Rude. And the Moth, I just remember the Moth being a lot of fun. I don't remember him getting a lot of play, but it was a lot of fun. There's the first image of him. You're a year older than me, so 58. I'm actually about to turn 58 next month. All right. So the Moth. All right. Last little handful here. Went ahead and grabbed this. Marvel, this is Heroes and Legends. I'm not really sure what this book was about. I know it reprints, no, it doesn't reprint anything. But on the inside front cover and inside back cover, it has the cover of Fantastic Four Annual number 3, The Wedding of Reed and Sue. Okay, so there it is on the inside front. There it is on the inside back. I'm guessing that in between is a story that is retro. Took place, took place at the time. The fabulous F.F. Holt, A Long-Awaited Wedding, and you got Dr. Doom reading the headline on the front page. On the first page. The most sensational, super spectacular ever witnessed by human eyes. So let's look at all the artists you got working here besides Stan Lee doing the script. Oh, this was 1996. So yeah, Stan Lee doing the script. In order of appearance, Sal Buscema, John Romita Sr., Steve Ditko, Gene Colan, Murray Severin, yay, and Ron Friends. Inkers, Tom Palmer, Joe Sinnott, Terry Austin, Bill Reinhold, Murray Severin, and Al Milgram. So great stuff here. Let me just show you a few excerpts. So I'm guessing this is adding to the story. What was going on with the other heroes and the villains they were fighting as the wedding was going on. Alrighty. So this is going to be fun. As much as I just talked about trying new things and indie comics, still love the classic stuff and new takes on the classic stuff. Well, some new takes on the classic stuff. Here's some Ditko work. Okay. 90s Ditko work. Interesting. All right. So anyway, that gives you an idea of what's going on here. All right. All right. Let's see. Some more indie work that I knew nothing about, and I guess this will end it. Two different vampire series. I'm really, I'm tempting fate here because I don't know what these will be content-wise, but I didn't notice any, warnings on here, mature warnings. I don't want you to think I'm a prude. Some soups will always have a special place mark. Right. Yeah. It was comics are what got me reading as well. In fact, I even had a teacher, my mom, actually one time when I was young, 3rd or 4th grade, went to the teacher, how do I get my son to stop reading comics? And she said, you don't. You just make sure he reads other stuff as well. But if he's reading comics, he's reading. Okay, so that was when my mom stopped, worrying about me reading comics. But I'm not a prude. But sometimes in the mature books, the mature material, okay, just the adult material, is a replacement for good storytelling. And I'll just leave it at that. This is African Blood CVO. Cover Vampiric Operations. Okay. That's issue number 1. Okay. I think these are from 2005. This is issue number 2. And again, called African CVO African Blood. So I think this was one storyline of this properties. This is issue 3. So obviously a vampire yarn. Anybody know anything about these? This is issue number 4, Dark. Kind of hard to see that number up there. These are IDW. All right. And then this is CVO Rogue State, issue number 1. Okay. And then issue number 2, Rogue State. Issue number 3 of Rogue State. So at least I'm able to get a few issues in a row, even if it's not the whole story. Get an idea of whether I like it or not. Issue number 4 of Rogue State. And issue number 5 of Rogue State. And that's it. That's my Black Friday haul. And lots of good reading to keep me busy for a while. I'm going to do, I don't know if I'll do a haul video or a live stream haul, but I've got to recently, just yesterday, went back to Heroes and Wizards in Webb City, Missouri. And I'm telling you, this next video is just going to be a love letter to Heroes and Wizards. Not just to the people who own it and run it, but to the people who shop there. I've got a really great story to go along with that. So anyway, that'll probably be a video so that I can tag them in it and promote them in it. Anyway, that's it. Hey, that's it for the live stream. That's it for the Black Friday. Had a great Black Friday. Go back and feel free to go back and catch up on what you missed. I appreciate those who came in and watched and interacted. That's my bread and butter, as you know. I care more about the interactions than I do about subscribers. I want people interested, and I want to hear what people think, and I want people talking, and because that's where the fun is. But anyway, that's it. Hey, thanks for watching. Consider, if you haven't, I think everybody here probably has already subscribed, but you know, feel free to share videos. Feel free to promote the channel if you'd like. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time I've got a live stream or a video. Should be coming out this next week with another couple of retrospectives on the Volume 1 of Iron Fist from the 70s. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.